Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new Guild Wars 2 adventure with me, Sherman. Today, guys, we're going to be playing through the starting part of the game and into, the world and stuff like that. But before I do, I want to be clear on something so people understand this. I am a experienced player. I am not a newbie to the game. So I know a little bit more about the game than most people do, but I also don't try to be one of those people that explains things like I would be explaining to a new person. Also, I'm going to be explaining this stuff like I have the experience and understanding of the game. So please understand that. So let's get started. So first off, we are at character creation. This is where you get to choose from the 5 different playable races in the world. First, we have the Char. The Char are a war race. Their race basically thrives on war, and everything about their society is even around it. And they get racial skills that pertain to that stuff. Down in the description below, you can see when you click on a different race, it'll tell you a little bit about the different races and who they are. But the Char are a feline type race that is like their whole livelihood has been built around war and fighting and stuff like that. So really cool race. Really enjoy playing this race. I do have several Char already, but we're not going to be a Char. Next, we have the humans. Humans are basically like we are, human. And they do have special racial skills that pertain to their gods. So you'll get like healing skills, you'll get utility skills, and you get an elite skill that is an elite skills that are from your god. And they're really fun to play if you're more into just playing the standard, and they can be a lot of fun. They have a really cool storyline too. Next up, we have the Norn, and the Norn are like I want to say they're like Norse mythology, but they're not. They are more like shamanistic, but they're also like their whole thing is about the hunt, and they hunt big monsters to prove their worth, and that's pretty much what the Norn are. But they're also a really cool race to play, mainly because if you play a male Norn, it's voice acted by one of my most favorite voice actors, Matt Mercer. He voiced characters like Leon Kennedy in the oh my god, Resident Evil games. He's voiced several characters in World of Warcraft. He's voiced several characters in some anime series I like. But not only that, but he's a player of D&D, and he voices the Melnorn, and he does such a fantastic job with it. Next, we have the Asurans. Asurans are an intelligent race of basically hyper geniuses that live in the underground, or lived in the underground, were driven to the surface by one of the dragons, and now live on the surface. And let me tell you, they throw their intelligence in your face all the time. They're cocky, they're rude, but they're also just really fun to play because they have that snarkiness to them. And they look really unique anyways. They look like miniature goblins. I don't know. Miniature, I wouldn't even say goblins, but like hairless gremlins. That's the best way to explain it. But they're fun to play, they're really unique and really cool. And then we have the most unique race in the game, in my opinion, the Sylvari. Now, I say this because I am a fan of the Sylvari. In fact, that's what I'm going to be playing in this. But the Sylvari are a race of beings that are awoken from a tree. They are tree people, basically. And their story, their lore, is so small compared to all the other races because they're a new race to the world. At least that's what they make you to believe, but they're really not. The race is actually ancient, very old, but the tree itself that we come from is very young compared to the other version. And I don't want to spoil things, but they play a pivotal role in the history of Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars itself because of who their race is connected to. So, and that's pretty much it. I mean, the Sylvari are really cool people, and once you learn their lore and their history, you kind of respect it a little bit more because it's such a unique, diverse race. Now, originally they were supposed to be more elven-like with tree features, and they're still like that, but they're more tree with elven features. So, all right, so let's go ahead and jump into this next part. And this is where you get to choose between male or female, and you can do this on any of the races. You can be male or female. And we are going to be a male, of course, because why not? And now we get to class selection. Now, class selection, there is technically only 9. There is 9 classes in the game, but we can only play 8 if you have the base game and you don't have the Heart of Thorns expansion. If you have the Heart of Thorns expansion, you do get the Revenant class, which is an amazing class. It's one of my favorites. And I say that, but I do say that about every class in this game, that they're my favorite because of the fact they're so fun to play. And the game has such a unique playability to it. So we're going to start with the Guardian. The Guardian is, in MMO terms, to most players, it's going to be like your Paladin or your it's very Paladin-esque. But it doesn't play like your atypical Paladin because they can use a staff to do group support. They can use a scepter to do ranged magic. They can even get the ability to use a bow, and they also get the ability to use an axe through specializations. They're very powerful, but they're also very easy to play. But I say this about all the classes. Every class is easy to play to some degree, but hard to master. But the Guardian, to me, it was the first class I leveled to 80, and I have a very unique bond with this class because it's the first one I learned to master. And so I really do enjoy playing this, as I said. And as I said about Sylvari being tree-like, but with elven features like the pointy ears, yeah. Alright, next up we have the standard warrior. And no, this isn't like tank healer, damage dealer type thing. No, this class can play all 3 roles that are in the game. And I'll talk about the roles once I get into the game and I get a little bit further into the content of the game. I'll explain the role system and how it works. But I really want to get further into the content before I even try to explain that stuff. Alright, and then next up, of course, we have the Revenant. If you do have the expansion, this is the Revenant. They look evil. They're not. They are actually a class that uses magic of what they call the mists. And it's a realm within, it's kind of like an underworld, but not. It's just like a plane of existence all to itself. And great heroes get sent to the mist. And those heroes is what you use for magic. You channel their abilities through you. So they have a really unique skill system, and it's just, in my opinion, it's what makes them so fun to play, is you're technically playing this class that's made up of other characters throughout history. So it's a really cool class. Next up, you have the Engineer, which is not what you think. Okay, they don't go around fixing or building things, but they do use rifles and pistols and stuff, and they can summon or call upon different kinds of machinery like turrets and things like that, or they can use flamethrowers, they can use grenades, they can use like an elixir thing. They're kind of like it says in the bottom, they're technomancers in a way. They basically do use technology for their magic. And in some cases later on they actually use it to a stronger sense than that. They're a really fun class play. They're really complex though. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of why they have these complexity things at the bottom. They're really complex because they're easy to play but they're really hard to master. And then next we have the Thief. which isn't your atypical thief of standard MMOs. They are not an assassin. They play like one, but they're not. They can use a wide range of weapons, but they get... What makes them unique is they use a lot of stealth mechanics and shadow mechanics to basically play the different roles of the game. And this game doesn't have the atypical roles of tank, healer, damage dealer. It has damage control support. And again, like I said, I will explain that later in a later video in more detail. Next up, you have probably the easiest class in the game to play, the Ranger. And I say that, but I'm not saying that like it's super easy, you should play one. I'm saying that it's one of the easiest classes to play because they have so much built into them right from the get-go. Unlike other classes who have to have certain weapons equipped or certain tools equipped to do certain things, the Ranger has it built into their toolkit and into certain things right away. If you wanted to be like a support character right out the door, you could do that with the Ranger more easily than you can any other class. But the thing that's unique about the Ranger is mastering the Ranger. That means utilizing its tools, where you use their companion, their pet, as a tool in the game. And a lot of people don't use the pet to their advantage as much as that you can. So, excuse me. All right. Next up, we have the Mesmer. The Mesmer is basically an illusionist. They use illusion magic to confuse or disrupt or do things. And no, they are not your typical like Mez character, like where you use them to stun, like to kind of like control characters or enemies. They use their illusions to fight, and it's just a really fun and cool class to play. Next up, we have the Necromancer, which is your atypical Necromancer. They summon death. They use death magic. They're all about it. That's just it. But they're also the easiest of the magic classes to play, but one of the harder ones to master. And I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but they're easy to master too. No. When I say hard to master, I mean the complexity of the class playability and making it play the way you want it to is the hard part to master. And it really comes down to, like, even after you unlock specializations, you still have to master a lot of the playability of the class. It's super easy to level and super easy to get through content. But when I say it's super hard to master, it's the complexity of the class and how it plays, because everything it does so well. It's kind of like the Ranger. It does everything really well, but it's the complexity of it. It comes from learning how to play it and master it. So it's just a really fun class, though. And then, of course, next you have the Elementalist. By far, hands down, the most complicated class in the game to master. In this story, in the discussion, Engineer is cakewalk compared to the Elementalist. And I say that because I just recently started mastering the class. Now, I played the Elementalist up to Heart of Thorns originally, and got there, started working towards the Tempest specialization. I never fully unlocked it. Well, I recently did, and I started playing the Tempest, and I didn't realize how much I loved the Elementalist until I started to figure out how it played here in the last, few months, or a few weeks. Before that, I just played it. I didn't really try to learn the intricacies of it, because it was complicated. I mean, you've got 4 different attunements that you can switch between, and it's kind of how the class plays. It can be damage control support depending on what role you're using, and it just flexes between them, so it can be any of them at any time. It's just a matter of which attunement you're under, what weapons you're using, and it's such a a fun, unique class to play compared to some of the others. But at the same time, the complexity of mastering it is painful. But I do have to say the elementals, it is becoming one of my more preferred play styles. But it's not what we're going to be doing in this. We're actually going to go with a ranger. Remember, I said it's one of the easier ones to play, but it's really hard to master. And that a lot of it has to come down to the class itself. Like it says here, even the complexity of it's easy, but it's mastering its playability that makes it such a challenge, especially when you get into Heart of Thorns and then move into the desert, or and even from what I'm to understand, even in End of Dragons with its End of Dragons specialization, like the specializations this thing has are so different from how the class normally plays that it makes it the mastering of it even more. So I really think that they hit this one on the nail with like ease of access. Besides the Guardian, the Warrior, the Ranger, and the Necromancer, which are the most easiest ones to get into to play, because they just come loaded with stuff that makes them easy. It's the complexity of the class itself that, like, mastering that the play style you want to play with them, that makes it so hard. Alright, moving on. Now, if you guys are wondering why I say that, I played a support ranger before there was the druid. So, we're going to go with a, like, medium build. I've already done this in, 20 times already, started this video. So, I already know how I want to set it up. But I am going to go through everything. So, you have a slider here that determines your height. Then you have your physical type. And I'm going to take my armor off, and please excuse the nakedness of my guy. But you're really not seeing anything, so we have the base, like, look. Then we have a skinnier, and this really just determines your physique and kind of like your starting textural look. But yeah, some really cool ones here. We're actually going to go with this one right here, because you'll see why when I do what I'm doing next. Next, we get to choose skin color. Lots of choices here, by the way. And you can do a lot of interesting things with the skin color. But we're going to go with what's called the oak. And the reason I'm going with oak is because of the look of it. It's kind of like a dusk look, like it's going into sunset kind of appearance. Next, we get to do our skin pattern, and this is very similar to what we just chose, but if you look, the tone of the skin and the texture on the skin does change to different things, and it really comes down to that, like, more like, what do you want? And I like this one because it reminds me of like a leaf imprint. Have you ever done leaf imprinting? It's basically where you take a leaf and you smash it into something, and then you do it while it's wet, and then you let it dry like that, and then when you peel it off, what it does is it leaves a leaf impression, and that's kind of what I see, like with this right here, and then like going down into the abdomen area, and then down the legs, and even on the arms. It's kind of that, like, old look. And I really love this. So we're going to go through and find the pattern color. And I've looked at a lot of different, like, pattern colors. Like, you can do red, and it's okay. You do green, it's okay. But I got into looking at the darker green, and I was like, that's really cool. But what would it look like with, like, an indigo or a nightshade? And that's when it hit me. Nightshade looks really cool because it kind of blends really well with the green undertone. And that's what we're going to do again. But this time, instead of going with the blue, we're going to go with a green. And the reason I'm going with the green is because it's such a faint a touch. If you actually look, it's a very minute what this color changes. And that's because this is the glow color of it. So we're going to go with like a grass green. And you'll see why I chose this when we get in game. Next up, we're going to look at hairstyles, and this, you can be bald, of course. I mean, a bald tree looks really weird. You can be rooty, or not rooty, but more like broken, and I like that kind of splintered stump look. Then you have like more of the, you know, plantery leaf salad head. Then you have a ponytail, which is what's standard for the ranger look in this. Then you have more of the like fold over. You have the mohawk. You have the, a lot of people call this emo. Then you have like this the twig head. And then you have like the brushed back look, which I think is, it's one I use for my mesmer, and I love it. Then you have, moving on, you have the spiny look, the mushroom head, the top knot kind of bandana thing where you use a vine, I guess, for the bandana. Then you have more of the Asian type, you know, classic look. Then you have the top knot with the pin through it kind of look. And really, it's up to you what you want to make your character look. We're actually going to go with the standard, but we're going to go with a midnight green. And if you look how it looks, it really kind of accentuates with the blue, and the oak color really kind of blends it back really well into the look of the character. Now we're going to go into face and skin color. So why they do the skin color again, I don't know, but lots of different faces here. This is the standard like goatee look. Then you have more of like the stretched leaf look, I guess you could say. This is a scary one. It looks like somebody peeled their face off, but it's actually quite cool. I actually like this one, even though it's kind of like creepy. It's actually kind of cool. Then you have what I call bark face, but it's a really cool one. I do like, especially if you're playing like a warrior type, having that like hardened look kind of helps. Then you have kind of like this sweet innocent look, but this is the one I use for my mesmer right there. Then you have this one, which kind of looks like Leatherface, because if you look, it looks like somebody just stretched a leaf over their face. But it's still kind of cool, I mean, if you like that. Then you have this one. And now I'm going to go through them a little bit quicker. And then back to the chin one. Then you have this one, which is kind of like more of the elegant face painted on kind of thing. Then you have this, which is more of like the Asian theme. I actually use this for my Dragon Hunter, which is a guardian. Then you have this one, which is I call the pedal look. Doesn't fit with this hairstyle. Actually works really good when you use a hairstyle like, say, this or this, because it gives that more stretched look. Or it really, I mean, it depends on your look, like what you're going for. So then you have the kind of like, hey, I want to have a mustache and goatee kind of look, and this I don't know. And then you have the innocent look. And I really like this look with this kind of color scheme. And this is what we're going with. Now, I like it a lot, so we're going to stick with it. All right, moving on to ears. So here we are with the ears. You can see it looks like a cauliflower ear there. But here's the base ear. Looks kind of elvish. Then you have the next ear, which is more elvish looking. Then you have the earbuds, which is literally like flowers growing out of your ear. Then we have the standard more like elven kind of slick back ear look, which I really like for this, and it's probably the one I'm going to use. Then you have this one, which is more of like a broken stump ear. Then you have the broken stump. And then, of course, you have the, I don't know what to call it, corkscrew ear. And then you have the wood slat ears, which it does work when you do the wooden face. So, but like I said, we're going to go with this ear. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually adjust the length to a little bit longer, and we're going to bring the tips out a little bit, just so it's a little bit more noticeable in certain aspects. All right, moving on to face details. This is where you get into all the slider stuff. Now, there's an eye color I love with this look, and that is the lilac, and that's because it kind of accentuates his eyes. It pulls you into it looking at his eyes. Alright, eyebrow placement. You can see, you can slide it. We're going to go with something a little down. Eyebrow angle, kind of just where at the bridge of at the top of the nose, where it meets. Kind of just chooses that. We're going to go like that. The brow size, if you look, really doesn't do a whole lot. But we're going to bring that up a little. Iris size we're going to bring down. Eyelid shape. Sad, happy kind of thing. We're going to go with a little bit turned up. And then this one is the openness of the eyes. And we're going to actually bring that down a little bit. Eyes width, we're actually going to go with a little bit wider apart. And then the eye scale, this will make the eyes big or small. We're actually going to go just down a hair like that. And we're almost done, guys. Nose. Bridge width. We're actually going to bring this way down. And then the nose width, we're going to bring up just a tad. Bridge height, we're going to bring down. The height of the nose, we're going to bring up a little. And then the nose length, we're actually going to bring down a little. Because it makes it kind of turn upwards, if you notice. So I really like that look. Onto the mouth. Can't really see it. But we're going to tone that down a little. We're going to do the fullness up a little. And the width we're actually going to bring down. So he looks a little bit more, you know, like that. Chin, I'm not going to change anything here because I like the way it looks. And we're going to move on to the armor dyes. Now, for this, I'm just going to pick these colors because I like the look of it for starting out. But as we progress, I'm going to get armor pretty quick, so the color's going to change a lot real fast. So, and there we go. This is the character that I will be playing through this playthrough. Oh, I went to the very end. Let me go back. And from here, we move on to picking our pet. Now, this first part really doesn't matter what pet you pick, but I am going to pick the Fernhound because of the fact that I wanted to tie into my character's story. When I make a character, I role play making the character. I know it sounds weird, but when you role play, when you make a character, you want it to have certain distinctions about it that play into its overarching story in the game. So the Fernhound really plays into it because it's something that I can say, hey, this thing was awoken at the same time as me, and we have this connection, this bond. So moving on, we have trouble may follow me, but I use my blank to overcome it. And this just really plays into certain actions or certain story points with the way you can reply to things, or certain NPCs you run into the world and how you reply to them. So I'm going to use dignity because being dignified is all. Moving on, this plays into your personal story. So in the beginning of the game, you get different aspects of a personal story, and this plays into that choice. Like when you make this choice, you're going to play this personal story. So you can see we have the stag, we have the Green Knight, and we have the Shielded Moon, and each of these tell a different story of how you play the opening of the game. So we're going to go with the white stag because it has to represent kind of nature, and us being rangers, we're kind of nature. I believe that the most important of Vintari's teachings is blank. Now, these things are really important to the Sylvari. This has to do with who they are and how they live. So, the first one is act with wisdom, but act. The next one is all things have a right to grow. And then the next one is where life goes, so too should you. And I will show you the tablet of Vintari so you can see what teachings they're talking about. Alright, moving on next. Now we get to choose when our character was born. Now, the reason I chose this look for my character is to represent that fade into the night and the dusk. So you get to choose the cycle of dawn, the cycle of noon, the cycle of dusk, or the cycle of night. And we're actually going to use dusk. And each of these has a different like teaching, or not teaching, but a thing that says, hey, this is what we are, this is who we are. And it says, Sylvari awakened at dusk are naturally curious and thoughtful. We love to learn and spend time reading and studying. We are intelligent and drawn towards a luscious complexity of magic. And I really want that to kind of play into my character later on. So, all right, now we get to choose a name. Now I already have a name for this character because, like I said, I tried to make this video before, but like here in the last few days, but I was having problems with my recording software shutting down on me at random. But I finally got it fixed, and now it's working, and we're gonna move forward. So now the name, we're gonna use this name, Tekin Dustwalker. And it's going to have a lot to do with how this character develops, the story that they play out throughout the game, and just how I personify them in who they are. Now, the other thing you have to understand about Sylvari is when they go into the world, they are awoken at full-grown height. They don't come out as a sapling and then grow into a person. They come out like this. And they come out with lots of knowledge, and you'll see that here in a second. So we're going to click Next, and play through a little.
I am Sylvari. 25 years ago, my people first appeared in Tyria, the pale tree flowered, and the firstborn awakened. The dream contains my race's memories. We gain awareness here, and then awaken into the world. The dream fills me with knowledge, and is my connection to others. It is my inspiration, my guiding light. While here, I have discovered my purpose, to face evil and destroy it. Even now, I sense my destiny calling me to awaken. My time is soon. Nature and goodness are under siege. All life hangs in the balance. If Tyria is to survive, it will need us. If we fail, the dream will be consumed by nightmare, and Tyria will wither and die. I dream of voyages. The voices of my people whisper to me of far-off places and mysterious shores. A white stag races before me, brave and wild. It offers me the gift of freedom. The dream hints at my future. There are distant lands and dangerous challenges, but also I see my home, a grove with a white tree, and friends who will stand by me when I need them. My honor dictates that I help those who are lost and alone. I am the protector. I hear my name in the wind, and I feel the call of my future. And yet I sense darkness approaching. Something intrudes upon the dream. It blocks the path to my awakening. Before I can enter the world, I must first face this evil and vanquish it. I am summoned by the dream. This is my story.
Dreamer, I am Keith. I need your help. Can you hear me where you are within the dream?
Within the dream? What does that mean? Why do you look transparent?
I am in Tyria, a land far away. Soon you'll awaken here, but for now you live in the dream. I can't explain right now. We must hurry. Something is poisoning the dream.
Poisoning the dream? Of course I will do whatever I can to help you. Why me?
Your spirit is strong. Do not underestimate yourself. Head to the far embankment, and I'll meet you there.
The voice acting in this is top notch, by the way. And if I seem to be going through this pretty quick, it's because I know this story very well. I've played through this a lot, not only with remaking this character several times, but also with just playing through. Alright, so usually this bridge is collapsed and you have to wait for them to rebuild it. But we're going to go ahead and cross. We're going to go in here and we're going to meet up with Keith, who's already in the fight. So we miss a little bit of the story, which I'm fine with, but we're basically fighting these hounds, which is going to awaken this creature, which plays into our character more than people realize. This is pivotal in our future of our characters. Alright, so this is like a world boss that you'll fight in the game later on. But basically you just target a point and you just fight. Dodge, avoid things. Ah. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, hopefully the recording doesn't stop here.
Where am I? I was fighting a great evil. Are we safe? Keith! Where is Keith?
Steady, sapling. You just woke. You were calling out in your dream. Keith was just here, but she had to go speak to the Pale Tree.
She and I fought side by side against the poison in the dream. I saw the shadow of a terrible dragon, and I felt the dream call upon me to defeat it.
By the tree. A wild hunt so soon, and such a momentous task. To be a valiant of the wild hunt is a difficult charge. Bear this calling with pride.
I will. But how do I begin? One does not simply awaken and rush off to face a dragon.
You start here in our forest. There were others hurt in the dream. They could use your help. Besides, it'll be fine training for a new valiant.
If you guys didn't know, that voice actor is Liam O'Brien. He's also one of the characters, or one of the people that does a D&D series called Critical Role with Matthew Mercer, the voice actor of the male Norn.
Where one path ends, another begins.
Alright, so I just leveled up, and it says these are my level 2 rewards. I gained 7 attribute points, primary attribute points, and it does go into power, precision, toughness, and vitality, which is pretty self-explanatory. Power determines your attack damage. Precision increases your critical hit chance. Toughness is your armor rating, and vitality is your max health. We also unlock the hero panel. It says the stat increase, and these aren't really telling you that's what it's teaching you, or this is what you unlock. This is telling you this is what you can do, and you just click on it, and it kind of points you to what you need to do to understand that stuff. and then we got our second weapon skill. So next at level 5 we will get skill unlocked, and at level 6 we get a fine equipment. Level 10 we get our personal story unlocked, and at level 11 we get 5 hero points. Alright, so talking a little bit more about skills, you can see I unlocked my second skill, which is rapid fire, and then I have a heal skill, and then skill here. Eventually I will get to name my Fernhound, which I already have a name for, and he'll unlock a set of skills as well. It tells you to talk to this person. This person's going to show you the map and the things that you can do within the map. Now, the reason they're circling out these hearts is hearts are technically like the questing system in this game, even though they're more like set in stone dynamic events. A dynamic event is something that happens in the world that can happen over and over again, but it's more like it's just something that happens at random. And there's lots of these you'll face throughout your time in Tyria, and when we come across them, I'll tell you, hey, this is a dynamic event. So you know when we run across them.
You'll encounter amazing Asuran waypoints that...
But basically, pretty much like I said, she's showing you these things. Now, what this doesn't do is it does not uncover the map for you, but it does show you the location of all the hearts. These are points of interest. These are waypoints, point of interest, and then your and hero challenges. Hero challenges where you earn extra hero points towards progressing your character's specializations, which we'll get to later. Those don't unlock until you're 21, but well, the main portion of them doesn't unlock until you're 21. I think you unlock the first part when you're like level 10 or something. And I'm just doing this heart really quick. I know it seems like I'm rushing, but I know these things inside and out. And basically, when you go into a heart area, it tells you what you need to do, and you just do it. You don't have to go to a quest person. You don't have to talk to a quest giver. You just go do it and move on. And that's what, again, what makes this so kind of unique. Now, I did just get a one-handed sword, which is cool, because I can use this as a weapon. And I also didn't equip my bow. I can use this as a weapon, and because I can, I get 2 skills unlocked. I get the slash, crippling thrust, and precision swipe, and then I also get Monarch's Leap, which is a pretty cool skill. So I'll show you what the sword looks like. So there's the 3 auto attacks that you get on number 1. And let me see if I can find another bug here. We're going to pull this out of the ground. This is the leap. It's like a thrust, but then it has a roll dodge into a stab. So it's actually 2 skills in one, the Monarch's Leap and the Serpent Strike. And and this is again where I said, learning the skills is one thing. Mastering them is completely different. And again, we just gained another level. So let's go ahead and do that. And that showed that we completed the heart. We got some karma. This is a special currency that you can use to buy things throughout the game, and becomes essential later on. So we got an extra inventory, it says, and player versus player. And really, this is just explaining to you that. Don't need to see that again. We're going to go ahead and get out of there. We're going to open our inventory, and we're going to equip this bag. And what this will do is normally it'll add 4 bag slots down here, but I have mine compressed into 1 bag except for my shared loot, and that's because I prefer to keep it all one thing, so I don't have to like hunt through different bags. Alright, now we're going to continue on our journey. I do have access to mounts because I've already unlocked them on my masteries. This is something that we'll get into later on. And I also have a glider, which allows me to glide. So, and again, like I said, I've done this so many times that I really don't even have to open my map for most of it to find it all. Next up, weapon skill 3 unlocked. So now we have the Hornet Sting, we have banking, and then point of interests, which we already did. A lot of it's just to help new players understand the game. And you also have this adventure guide here, which shows you like scouting the area, applying conditions, which you've already done, defeated some enemies, all that. But the thing that's cool about Guild Wars 2 is it's not a game that says, hey, go out in the world, follow this path. It's like, go out in the world, find your path. And I think that's what makes it so unique. Here we have to defeat undead, revive territory markers, and rebuild fortifications and spar with local wardens. Pretty easy stuff. The Sting is so cool. It's a really good, like, I need to get out of here. And then at level 10, we'll also get weapon swap, and that, or level 11 or something, and that will allow us to do that stuff. Pretty cool. And the other thing is about this skill, when I do the thrust, I don't have to use the Serpent Sting right away. I can hold on to it for a little bit and then move on to another enemy if I need to. And that's really for like evading an attack. Like, it's an extra dodge, but it does damage, so it's really kind of cool. A lot of times you're gonna just be doing auto attack mostly. You're gonna be using skills at certain times. Alright, I'm going to show you other things you can do to complete this heart real quick. We're going to go in here. So you can activate these, replenish marker. Oh, we got another waypoint. Look at this for special. Can do that. And then I'm going to see if I can find one of these wardens to fight. So these are the sparring partners. Sure, I'll help. I'm ready. He's going to bow to me, and then we're going to battle. That was quick. And that was the end of that heart. We move on now. Now that we've done this, we are level 4. We're almost level 5. And you can tell, like, the game progresses you pretty quickly. But that's basically to help you understand stuff. Now, we do have some things in here I want to talk about. These right here, these chests, you open them up, you get the choice of medium, light, and heavy armor. We're going to go with the medium. And this item cannot be deconstructed. You have to just throw it away when you're not using it, when you're done with it. Now, these, as you can see, they say Defense 18, unassigned upgrade slot, blah, blah, blah. But it says an enhanced version of the standard Ragamuffin armor. Double-click to select stats. Well, you can either double-click or you can right-click and say Customize. And then it'll pull up in this screen. And this allows you to choose the stats you want to use for your character. Now, depending on how you choose to play, if you want to be more tanky, go with something hardy. Now, this does not mean you're a tank. It makes you tanky. If you want to go with power ferocity, this is more like geared towards high damage output with a lower crit capability kind of thing. Then you have hunters, which is power precision. Now, this is what I'm gonna go with, but I want to explain more. Power and precision basically increase your straight damage. Then you have precision condition damage. And this is, your precision is your critical rate. Condition damage is the damage that you deal with damage over time. So if I took this, it would be really good for this skill that does the poison, and the bleeds, if I had any bleeds, and anything that does burning. But like I said, I'm doing more power. That's what we're going to do it. Then you have rejuvenating, which is more geared towards like a damage healer. Then you have strong, which is more geared towards somebody who's going to do like I'm going to do, but they want to do more damage with less critical. And then you have vigorous, which is power and vitality, which is kind of like something that is tanky, but not. It's just high damage, high health. So we're going to go with the hunter. Accept. And as you can see, it also says there's an upgrade slot. That's for if you have a ruin or something to put in it. So we're going to go ahead and equip this. Why aren't you equipping? Oh, got to go in here. Go to equipment. Boots. That is a medium armor. Level 5. Oh my gosh. And we got gloves too we can equip. So we'll go do the same thing. Ragamuffin. Yes, we're going to customize. And always choose the same stats. Don't try to change it up and mix and match. Just stick to the same thing straight across the board, from weapons to jewelry and all that. and you should be pretty good to go. Next up, we got to kill spiders, gather red caps, mushrooms, and stuff. This is pretty fun. You eat one of these, it makes you small, like, you know, Alice in Wonderland. And then you jump into a spider den and call them out. I should have went with the different weapon here, but it's fine. Because if you notice, even our weapons do have some AoE, where we hit multiple targets, and some weapons are better at that than others, so... Alright. Now that we're small and kicking butt and taking names, I need to find another spider den to jump into. Okay, all I need is a couple more things. That's it. It's 2 egg sacs should do it. Actually, 1 should do it. And now we are level 5. And at level 5, we get new professional skill unlocked. Pet panel and rally unlocked. So, and when they say new professional skill, I'll show you what that means here in a second. Alright, got that. Gonna open this. We have some mail here, and this is a piece of jewelry that you got for pre-ordering the game back when it first launched. And it basically just gives you stats and everything. Alright, now that we're level 5, we can equip our boots and our gloves. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Now we're gonna move on. We're actually gonna cut across here into this like bog area. And that's the thing again that I love about Guild Wars 2 is it's so open and free in what you where you can go and what you do, that you just kind of run into stuff in the world to do, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll send you home. Oh, the okay, so this one, there's a dynamic event going on, and this is the spider invasion. So the spiders are coming in, and we want to stop them from basically killing the hounds. We want to keep as many hounds alive as possible. And it will complete your heart as well, because it's part of the process. Like, some dynamic events do work for hearts as well. So, actually, we should be activating as many of those as possible, so that way the creatures can't come in. See, that's an elementalist right there. He's dagger wielding and focus. And that's a necromancer. And then the same elementalist and a ranger. And don't be worried that you won't get, like, if you feel like you're not going to get any contribution in this, don't be. Like, everybody who's involved in a dynamic event, all that, you all gain credit for doing it, and no matter how little or how much, you get rewarded for everything you do. And that's what, again, why I think Guild Wars 2 is so unique. Is it's not about, you know, people say, what's the end game? Well, this game originally had, the only end game it had was dungeons and these kind of events that happen in the world. And I think that's what made it so, again, so unique compared to other games, was it had that, you know, hey, here you go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this. We get a new weapon. And actually, I'm going to go with the torch because we have the one-handed sword. This will be interesting. Okay, got our thing. Going to go ahead and equip our torch because we do get a skill with it. Where we can throw a torch at the enemy and light them on fire. And we got some mighty leggings, which will open up when this event ends. We got 17 seconds, so. But this event will probably get me close to another level anyways. But this is more condition-based damage, by the way. So like that one set that I was talking about, the Rampagers or whatever, would be great for it. So. And we got some more leggings. And some more. But we only need to open one, so. Ragamuffin leggings, yes. And then customize the hunter. This is much better if I was using a bow, but I'm fine with doing this. I thought I saw, oh, activate that. Now we're going to go up here into this forest area where we're going to get a vista. Now, I'm going to throw this torch. I want you guys to see this. So it lights them on fire. Then I can do that and then go into a poison. Usually, if you have time to do that, it's just really powerful. So, some mighty boots. And you can see it's already pointing us to another heart. So, alright. We'll go ahead and get started on it, kicking these noxious plants. Lighting some risen corpses on fire. So the things called risen, they are actually a enemy of this dragon that you'll fight later on in the game called Zaitan, and he's like one of the main protagonists or antagonists, I don't know, of he's the main antagonist of the story and of the base game story. He's the first dragon you fight, and he's an undead dragon, and he summons the dead. Or raises the dead, basically. He's just a giant necromancer. This is really what he is, in dragon form. Oh, great. See, I try to do cool moves, and you do so much damage. Especially in the beginning, because you have all this, gear and equipment that makes you really powerful. So we got boots, we got that. Really just want, to find a good jacket. Or a good, top. Now, talking about something else here. I am going to be doing these videos in like hour-length sessions, just so you can see a little bit of the gameplay. You can see more of what's going on than what you would in, most people's standard playthroughs kind of things. Ooh, are we going to be able to do our beasting? Yes. Oh, we got a coat, guys. It's going to be ugly, but I'll take it. Alright. Now, if you guys are wondering how I just put my weapons away, let's see. Down skill unlocked, Vistas unlocked, which we already did one. Black Lightning Trading Company, blah, blah, blah. Moving on. Alright. So, I have my keybind. I have a keybind that lets me do this. This is actually in your options under keybinds. You got to scroll way down towards the bottom, but you can set it to where you can have a key be like draw and put away weapons. This actually helps a lot later on. So now we're up here. And this is where we can find a merchant, a heart. These hearts are merchants that sell special items, like I was saying. This one sells a jewelry piece, an accessory that gives you toughness, which basically increases your defense. We don't really need that. Or I can buy a better bow than what I already have, which I'm going to go ahead and do. But we're going to sell some stuff. We're going to sell the 2 original bows. We're going to sell our old armor. And we're going to sell our junk. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to go in here. I got to throw out these boxes because I can't do anything with them really. And I need to throw out this mushroom because there's nothing I can really do with that either. Alright, so I have these items here that are used for crafting. I can't really do anything with them. And I can open this bag and get more. But I can't really do anything with them. And I don't want them taking up my space. So if I click on this, I can deposit those materials. This leaves me with 5 of those, which you can sell right here, or you can right click and say sell at trading post. And this opens up the game's trading post. And I can sell them right out the door. Unfortunately, their price is too low, so I have to sell them at a higher price and hope somebody buys them. Yes, I have money sitting in there. Alright. And that's pretty much that. Now, merchants, some merchants can sell you some stuff like extra bag space, which I could use. So I'm going to go ahead and buy 3 more. If I go in here now and I can equip all 3. Now I have much more carrying space. Not much more, but more. More is always better. Alright, we're going to move on now to this other thing that says learn how to dodge. And this is basically a thing that teaches you how to use dodge rolling. And your standard key for dodge rolling is usually V. I have mine set to my left shift because it's just easier to do. So, alright, it says use left, you use your dodge key and dodge through this. We'll open this up and we'll get a treasure of some kind. We got some boots, mighty studded boots. Are they better than what we have? No. So we're not going to equip them. Now we are also near the next heart. So we're going to go down here and get started on that. But before we do, I'm going to go grab a way shrink. Since I have access to it, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to go ahead and use my mount just to get to the way shrine quicker. And as you notice, it threw me off. That's because there's a thing in this area called a jumping puzzle. And they don't like people to cheat. So, yeah, I can't use the jumping puzzle. And technically, I'm not supposed to be able to glide, but I can. Missed him. And this is again another one. Now this is a cool skill. Like this is my number 5 skill, and it basically puts a fire down on the ground, and anything that walks into it catches on fire. Oh, we also gained a level, and we got our underwater stuff. Very cool. Gonna go ahead and equip all that real quick, just so I have it done. And, oh, we got the abomination. Alright, so this is a hero challenge. Some of them can be challenging, like really challenging and difficult. Some can be really simple and easy. This one is not too bad. You just click on it, you say take a blossom, you get it, you open your inventory, you double click on it, and now you eat it, and it gives you a hero point. Alright, now we're going to use this to get our mask.
Something had to be driving those undead. I intend to find out.
Customize, hunters. Go ahead and get rid of the boots. We don't need them, and we don't need the gloves either. I'm going to deposit some of this stuff, get it out of my inventory. We're going to compact it down. Now you can see it says defeat the risen monstrosity. And then we also have an escort thing going on over there, which we'll do. Ooh, we got the mighty chess piece. This is something I've been waiting for. Oh man, I wish I could use a rifle. So we're going to get the ragamuffin coat. Right click in it. Say customize, of course. Or hunter. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I going hunter? Hunter gives me precision, so it increases my critical chance. So the higher crit I have, the more damage I'll do. So, now where is this little dude? He's over here. He's being... And we're going to go ahead and go back to using a bow. I just wanted to show you guys that. The different weapon skills, so you can see. And now I have all my bow skills, which, who doesn't like a rain of arrows? And I'm going to go ahead and do something else. I'm going to go H. I'm going to hide my mask, mainly because I just don't like the way it looks. Alright, I'm also going to do something else here soon. I'm going to name my pet. And it'll, you guys will understand more. About why I named my character the way I did, because it has to do with my pet. Like I said, me and my pet share a bond. Sorry, it said use a healing skill, so I did.
An attack is imminent. We've arrived.
Now we're going to let him get close because he becomes a merchant for a minute.
Congratulations, Victor.
My new invention will revolutionize the industry.
And he's talking about his Order of Whisper spike hit. Which is pretty fun to mess with. Alright. What can I do to help? I'll do whatever I can. I'm ready. And I just bypassed that little cutscene because, yeah. This is a really cool kind of mini story here. Because this introduces you to the Nightmare Court to a degree. And the Nightmare Court are basically evil Silvari. But not fully evil. They're Silvari that are turning down the path of evil and don't realize what they're really getting involved in until much later. Oh, my pet. I want to rename him. While I'm in here, we're gonna do that. So. Yes, Duskwalker is his name. And it's the reason why I use the last name Duskwalker. I named my pet before we were even, you know, a thing. See, this is what I was talking about. Like, because I choose Dignified, I can still choose these, but it's just for purpose of story.
Thank you. I feel whole again.
Thank you. I should be fine now.
And basically, I'm keeping these animals good. Don't want them to turn up evil. Alright, what do we get? Gathering. We got some gathering tools, which is really cool. Can definitely use those. We got weapon swapping coming up at level 10. We're getting close, guys. We're level 9 now. And we got this. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. I'm going to equip all these tools. And we're going to get rid of the mighty chest piece, because this gear doesn't get any better than what we have. Like, it doesn't. So, we continue on our little adventure here. Up here is another hero challenge, and this one is a little bit different because it's where you got to fight something. And this is the difference between the hero challenges. There's some where you got to do puzzles, some where you got to fight. But they've definitely made the leveling process a lot easier with the introduction of that new equipment, like the stuff with the 2 stats on it. Definitely makes you a lot easier. This is the evil versions, by the way, of these Fern Hounds. So. I'm so close to 10. Leave. You hear that little whistle? I told Duskwalker to attack him. And that's kind of what you can do. Like, that's what I mean by understanding the complexities of the class. If I wanted to, I could send him to fight something else while I'm fighting another enemy. And that just kind of helps, you know, take 2 targets on at once. Now it's telling me there's an unexplored area in this direction. And that's basically this spot up here. Now it's not going to uncover. It's actually uncovering something else that you can't see because it's inside this area. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to go this way. It says there's a scout nearby. We're going to go try and find him. And the scout is up there. Now, once we hit level 11, and we get weapon swap and at level 10 and all that, what I'm going to do is probably in the video about that point, so I can get this uploaded and have it available to you guys. So that way, going forward, I'm going to be getting new pets. And the new pets I get, I'm going to leave it to you guys. When I find them, I'm going to leave them empty. Their name's empty, and I'm going to let you guys help me name them. So. Alright. Oh, there's a Valiant doing a quest. Let's go help him. Oh, it's the guy with this giant crocosilisk. Got a slab of meat.
is thick with undead. It'll be more dangerous from here on.
Well, that's good. I was planning on going possibly cook with this guy. Like cooking food for people.
Stay close. We won't ignore our trespass here. Defeating the undead was easier than I'd imagined.
So close to gaining a level 10. Oh my gosh. Because I believe at level 10, no, level 11 we get our first skill unlock. Alright, that's fine. We're gonna move on. Somebody has a sky scale. That's cool. I don't have one yet. I'm not cool enough to have a flying mount. But I unlocked a personal story, which will be good to start in the next video. So let's go ahead and dismount. We're going to talk to this person because we need to.
You will find adventure at every turn. Do not forget where you come from. The heart of all cultures is farming and commerce. To this end, the Sylvari of Arkham Wild serve as providers to all of the grove, be it gathering from the water's edge or farming from within the heart of the jungle.
Right. Now, when I say I'm going to talk about more stuff later on in the stuff series, not in the video itself, not in this initial one. This is just to get you used to the basics and the understanding of how the game works, its mechanics, that kind of stuff. But there is a lot to this game, and I'm not kidding when I say there is a lot to this game. There is a ton to this game. Now, this area used to have a thing where there was these, yes, that's it, spider webs that you could interact with, and it would make spiders fall from the ceilings and stuff. There they are. They just made them a lot harder to see. Now, most of our XP is gonna, or our completion of this heart is gonna be out here. And it's gonna be fighting these things called the Nightmare Court. Sorry, dear. I had to do it. Oh, we got our level 10. So now we get, it says mount unlocked. We already had it. Personal story unlocked. And weapon swapping is now unlocked. So now I can go into my character screen here. And I can put my mighty sword and my torch on here. And we can have this at a quick key accessibility. And since we got that mail, it's basically telling us that to meet Keith, the mentor, who actually plays a very much bigger pivotal story in this game. So oh wow. All right. A little bit of a delayed reaction there. But we did complete the heart, which is really cool. Hey, no, get out. I've never seen a turtle used. Now I have. Pretty crazy. Alright, gonna do two quick things. One, we're gonna jump down here because we want to get this way shrine. Or waypoint. Way shrine. Elder Scrolls habits, sorry. Hard to break free of. And people don't realize like how much Guild Wars 2 and Elder Scrolls share similarities. Oops, I fell. That was genius. Now you're gonna notice I don't use a lot of times the mounts or the wing, the gliding and all that, because I want to make this try to make this feel as authentic as possible to new players coming in. But I also want like old players or new players, people who haven't played the game in a while, to see like, okay, the game's definitely improved, but by how much, you know. All right, we're gonna get this vista. It's gonna show us the next thing over there, which we'll go get real quick. And yes, I'm gonna use my glider because I just don't feel like fighting right now. We're gonna get this point of interest, or hero point, because we're almost level 11, and no offense, but as soon as we get there, we get our hero point stuff. We get a utility skill unlock and all that, and this will go a little bit better to understand when you see the how this works. So your character gets basically what's called hero points, which are used to unlock skills and other things. Right now, because of how many we have, 8, we can only unlock skills. So we can unlock skills from each of the different things: signet training, trap training, survival training, sprint training, and command training. However you want to unlock them is up to you. I unlock the first one of every single one. So I have a variety of different skills that I can use. Primarily, mostly heals, which I'm fine with. Didn't have enough points. That's okay, because I have this skill, which allows me and my pet to move faster. But I did get some new healing skills, which are kind of cool. I'm going to stick with heal as one for now, but eventually I'll probably use some of these other ones in different situations, depending on that. I also unlocked my pet's extra skill, which is when I hit it, he will howl, and anything within a certain radius of him, 600 radius, gets healed. So this is a cool heart, by the way, if you haven't done it. Ooh, a big boss thing. Okay, we killed that one. There's another one. Where is it? It's over there. If I could move. Jeez, man, that was a serious lockdown. And I'll show this one real quick because I really think that people, like, when people see this stuff, they think, oh, all you're doing is killing things or collecting things. But it's not true. You can go over here and he's going to transform you into one of those creatures. So you can access these different things because it's the only way you can get to them. Wait, you have something for me? You have some goodies? It's cool. And yeah, you can sprint with this, but it just makes you move faster is all. So. Wow, I launched that sucker. You guys are giving me all sorts of goodies. One more, and then we're done. Now that we're done, and we've unlocked, you know, some skills, we've gotten some other things done. That, I think, is a perfect amount of time playing and seeing the beginning of Guild Wars 2 for, you know, you newcomers out there, and also, you know, maybe a little bit of, you know, different type of play style than what most people are used to when it comes to Guild Wars 2. So let's go ahead and we're going to move on over here. And this basically takes us back to the beginning of the Grove where we were awoken. Those are awakening pods, by the way. There's Sylvari in those. Because technically, in the original launch of the game, you would awaken here. And then they moved it over there, which I really don't care that they did that. It's just one of those things. But yeah, the journey has begun into Tyria and our adventures on Tekin Duskwalker as he travels Tyria with his trusty companion Duskwalker to find his path in the world. So in the next video, we will be going into the grove, which is the Sylvari home. It's that big tree right there. As you can see, that thing is massive, by the way. We're going to go into that big tree. That is the home of the Sylvari, and we're going to meet with Kaith. We're going to start the story called, the personal story, and then move our way through that along with some other things. And hopefully by the time we get that first story done, like the first part of it done, we'll be closer to 21 or what have you when we unlock our actual specializations, which are in here, and they're down here. We get marksman, skirmishing, wilderness survival, nature magic, and beast mastery. And these basically give us perks to our character that allow us to kind of buff ourselves through like passives and stuff like that. It's a really cool process, and it's a really great journey once you get there. But yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. But that's pretty much it, guys, for this intro video again. And like I said, each of these videos in this series is going to show different aspects of the game, and I will be talking about different aspects of the game and their benefits and the different characters with different stuff. It really boils down to that playability and that accessibility you're looking for in the game. Because there's some people that are going to come to this game and be like, well, I'm not sure what kind of equipment to use to start with. And I went through this to explain, like, there's a lot of different stat customization you can do that allows you a lot of flexible play styles. But the thing that you have to understand is, even if you played with power and healing, it doesn't make you super, like, you can't play the content. It just means that you're going to have more supportive capability when it comes to healing. And then later on, you're going to get other gear with more stats on it and more stats. And the game is going to really expand on your playability. And that's where this game really starts to shine, is when you get into the character customization and the playability of your character and what you can and can't do. And I'm running around with a lot of junk, so I'm going to go get rid of it real quick. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you all for watching, as always. I mean, it's great not only by yourself, but also when you take others along and they can see. And yeah, I'm just going to get rid of everything because I just want this stuff out of my inventory. And I want to start with a clean slate tomorrow when I record the next part of this journey that this character is going on. But yeah, it's always one of those things, like, how do you start doing your video? Like, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to do? And I think there's a lot of people that are afraid to do it, but don't be afraid. If you want to try doing content creation, do it. It's a lot of fun. But again, as always, that brings me to the end of this series, video, not series, but the start of this series, which is going to be over a long period of time, hopefully. I'm hoping I can keep this series going for at least a week, if not longer. But what I want to do is I want to play through the entirety of the base game storyline, not content, because that would take months. And then when I'm done with that and I move into Heart of Thorns, what I'm going to do is on my spare time, I'm going to be playing through the base game's content, getting the world exploration done, getting hero points, getting vistas, getting all that stuff to unveil the entirety of the map, because map completion is important. Okay, it's just as important as playing the game, but I'm going to do that a lot of that stuff off camera after I hit level 80, so there isn't a lot of like, oh, well, he's doing this and getting a bunch of levels, we're not going to see it. I want you to see the process to get to 80, so I'm going to show that. And then I'm going to start doing the Maguma Jungle storyline, and I'm going to pretty much be flying through most of that, because I will have enough hero points almost to level my first specialization, and we'll talk about that when we get there again. And then also I'm going to be doing a lot of things to explain different aspects of the game, play styles, playability, understanding of the game while I'm doing all this stuff, so you guys have a better understanding of how the game works. And like I showed in this first video, like, I just showed you how you start in a game. That's it. Like, this is how you get started. It's that simple. There's no complicated math. There's no complicated stuff. You just pick up, play the game, and enjoy it. You don't have to worry about the personal story for the first 10 levels. And then once you get that, it's better to level to 11 to where you start unlocking skills that progress you even further. So, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I can't say much more other than this is what you're going to experience when you watch this series. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far. I'm having a blast doing it. It's a lot of fun to be able to talk, like have that kind of somewhat human interaction. I know you guys will be able to comment in the video below, and I do want you to. But tell me your thoughts and insights about what made you play the game, or what interests you in the game, but you're not sure if you want to start playing it. Now, I also have a link in the description where you can download it both on their main website and where you can download it on Steam. It is free to play for the first 80 levels. And some people say that's just a tutorial. It's not. There's so much you can do in those first 80 levels. It's ridiculous. Now, you won't have access to the mounts or the gliding system or the specializations, the elite specializations, but you will get a feeling for the game to see if it's something that's worthwhile to you. But what's the harm in trying it? It's free to play. So, and if you guys are interested in playing with me or talking to me, in another video I will be releasing this week, I will be releasing information on how to get in touch with me through Discord. Not my Discord information, but my Discord itself. Like, I have a Discord server, and you guys can come and join me there. I'm also going to be updating my Discord server to reflect my Guild Wars 2 changeover. And again, I hope plenty of you guys come and join me in there. And, if you want to discuss things, feel free to ask me questions in the Discord. Don't private message me, I won't answer you. I'm letting you know that now. I don't answer private messages, primarily because I have a Discord for a reason. You can talk to me there. And if you want to ask me a personal question there, message me there. Just type / and then my name, and it'll pop up, and you can be like, oh, okay, I can talk to him directly, like message him directly through this. And just do it that way. Don't message me directly. Like I said, I won't answer it. But yeah, feel free to contact me there. Other than that, you guys know what's coming next. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, please subscribe. If you do subscribe, I do suggest you click that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. Other than that, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.